The signal first appeared on Dr. Raven Blackwood's monitor at 3:47 a.m., while most of the Horizon Deep Space listening station slumbered beneath the New Mexico desert. At first, she dismissed it as another piece of space debris, but something about its regular pulsing pattern caught her attention. Her fingers flew across the holographic interface, isolating the signal's frequency. "This can't be right," she muttered, pushing her silver-streaked black hair from her face. The signal was too precise, too structured to be natural. After 20 years of searching the stars for signs of intelligent life, Raven knew she was looking at humanity's first contact. Commander James Hawthorne found her still at her station when he arrived for the morning shift. "You look like you've seen a ghost, Dr. Blackwood." "Better," she replied, her dark eyes gleaming. "I've seen aliens." Within hours, the Horizon Station transformed into a hive of activity. Government officials and military personnel flooded the facility, led by Admiral Catherine Santos of the newly formed Global Space Defense Initiative. As Raven presented her findings, the signal grew stronger. "They're approaching our solar system," Raven explained, projecting a holographic map. "The signal contains mathematical sequences, universal constants. They're trying to communicate." Admiral Santos studied the projection, her weathered face betraying no emotion. "Can you decode it?" "Already working on it." Raven gestured, and streams of decoded data filled the air. "It's a distress signal. They call themselves the Aetherians, and they're requesting asylum." The news reached President Daniels in Washington within the hour. As governments worldwide scrambled to respond, the Aetherian ships appeared at the edge of the solar system. 12 crystalline vessels that seemed to bend light around them like liquid glass. Dr. Julian Patel, the GSDI's chief xenobiologist, stared at the first images in wonder. "Their technology is incredible. The way those ships manipulate energy." The first direct communication came 3 days later. The Aetherian ambassador, a being named Lysandra, appeared as a hologram in the Horizon Station's main chamber. Her form was almost humanoid but ethereal, tall and graceful, with translucent skin that rippled with patterns of light and eyes that held the depth of galaxies. "People of Earth," Lysandra began, her voice harmonizing in multiple tones, "we come seeking sanctuary. Our species faces extinction, rejected by the Galactic Confederation for our perceived weakness. Though we possess advanced technology, our physical forms are fragile. We were deemed unsuitable for membership in their alliance." Admiral Santos stepped forward. "And you chose Earth. We're not even part of this confederation." "Precisely," Lysandra replied. "Your species is young, unbound by the Confederation's prejudices. We have observed your broadcasts, your art, your stories. Despite your conflicts, you value diversity and protect the vulnerable. We hope you might accept those the galaxy has cast aside." President Daniels, watching via secure link from the White House, leaned forward. "What exactly would this sanctuary entail, Ambassador?" "We offer an exchange," Lysandra said. "Shelter for our remaining population, less than 10,000 souls, in return for sharing our technology. Clean energy, medical advances, faster than light communication, knowledge that could advance your civilization by centuries." The offer sparked intense debate. Some saw opportunity, others threat. Dr. Patel argued passionately for acceptance, while military leaders urged caution. But it was Raven who voiced what many felt. "We've spent centuries wondering if we're alone in the universe," she said during a crucial UN session. "Now we know we're not. The question is, what kind of species are we? One that turns away those in need, or one that rises to help?" As debates raged, the Aetherian ships drew closer, their crystalline forms now visible from Earth's most powerful telescopes. Lysandra revealed more about their situation. Their homeworld destroyed by a cosmic catastrophe. Their centuries of wandering, their rejection by the Confederation for failing to meet their martial standards. Finally, after 2 weeks of intense negotiation, President Daniels addressed the world. "Today, We choose to extend our hand in friendship. The Aetherians will find sanctuary on Earth, and together, we will forge a new chapter in human history." As the announcement was made, Raven stood with Julian in the Horizon Station's observatory, watching the Aetherian ships begin their final approach, their crystalline forms casting rainbow refractions across the night sky. "You know," Julian said quietly, "this could change everything." Raven smiled, thinking of all the possibilities ahead. "That's exactly what I'm counting on." But in the shadows of this historic moment, other forces were already moving. In a secure facility beneath the Urals, General Viktor Petrov reviewed classified reports about the Galactic Confederation. In a Tokyo research lab, Dr. Yuki Tanaka discovered something unusual in the Aetherian signal's background radiation. And in orbit, automated sensors detected another signal, faint but growing stronger, approaching from the direction the Aetherians had fled. The story of humanity's first contact was just beginning, and no one could predict where it would lead. The landing zone outside Denver shimmered in the summer heat as the first Aetherian vessel descended. Its crystalline surface caught the sunlight, casting prismatic patterns across the assembled crowd of diplomats, scientists, and military personnel. Dr. Raven Blackwood stood beside Julian Patel, both barely breathing as the ship's external structure shifted like liquid glass, forming an elegant landing platform. Ambassador Lysandra emerged, her ethereal form even more striking in person than via hologram. Two other Aetherians accompanied her, their translucent bodies pulsing with patterns of blue and gold light. Admiral Santos stepped forward to make Earth's first physical contact with an alien species, but before she could speak, alarms blared across the facility. Unauthorized breach in Sector 7. Security forces rushed to surround the Aetherians as a group of protesters broke through the perimeter. They carried signs declaring Earth for humans, and no alien deception. The Aetherians showed no fear. Instead, Lysandra raised her hands, and a gentle field of energy surrounded their group, deflecting thrown objects while allowing sound and air to pass freely. The display of defensive technology, completely devoid of aggressive potential, silenced the crowd. "We understand your fear," Lysandra addressed the protesters, her harmonious voice carrying clearly. "We ask only for the chance to prove ourselves worthy of your trust." In the weeks that followed, integration efforts began in earnest. The Aetherian population was small enough to be accommodated in specially constructed habitats in Colorado, designed to maintain the specific atmospheric conditions they required. Dr. Julian Patel led the medical exchange program, working closely with Aetherian healer Kareth to understand their unique biology. "Their cellular structure is fascinating," Julian explained during a briefing. "They can literally absorb and manipulate energy at a quantum level. But this ability comes at a cost. Their physical forms are incredibly sensitive to environmental changes." Raven found herself working alongside an Aetherian scientist named Theron, whose expertise in quantum communications revolutionized her understanding of deep space signals. Despite their different species, they developed an easy rapport, spending long hours discussing the mysteries of the universe. "Your people's curiosity reminds me of our own early days," Theron told her one evening, his form glowing softly in the dim light of the lab. "Before the Confederation's judgment changed everything." But not everyone welcomed the exchange of knowledge. General Petrov's warnings gained traction in certain political circles. "They claim to be refugees," he argued in closed-door sessions, "but they possess technology centuries beyond ours. How can we be certain this isn't a subtle invasion?" The situation grew more complex when Dr. Yuki Tanaka published her analysis of the background radiation from the Aetherian signals. "There's a pattern hidden beneath their primary communications," she reported. "It suggests they're being followed." Meanwhile, in the Aetherian habitat, cultural exchange flourished despite the tensions. Human artists collaborated with Aetherians to create stunning light sculptures. Scientists from both species made breakthrough after breakthrough. The Aetherians' energy manipulation technology proved compatible with Earth's power grids, offering solutions to climate change and energy scarcity. Admiral Santos found herself increasingly acting as a bridge between species, particularly when dealing with security concerns. During one tense meeting, she confronted Lysandra directly about Tanaka's discoveries. "There's something you haven't told us about why you're here," Santos said. "Something about who might be following you." Lysandra's light patterns shifted to deeper blues. "You're right, Admiral. We didn't tell you everything. Not because we meant to deceive, but because we feared you wouldn't understand. The Confederation's rejection of our people wasn't purely about our physical weakness." Before she could elaborate, the facility's quantum sensors detected an anomaly at the edge of the solar system. The same type of signal Tanaka had identified in the background radiation, but stronger now. Much stronger. In the observation room, Raven and Theron exchanged worried glances. "They'd found us," Theron whispered, his form dimming with fear. The signal grew stronger as Raven's instruments tracked multiple objects entering the solar system. On screens worldwide, markets tumbled as the news broke. In military installations across Earth, forces went on high alert. And in the Aetherian habitat, Lysandra gathered her people to prepare for a revelation that would either strengthen or shatter their newfound alliance with humanity. The truth about why the Aetherians had really been rejected by the Confederation could no longer remain hidden. As Raven worked through the night with Theron to analyze the approaching signals, she couldn't shake the feeling that Earth had become entangled in something far larger than a simple refugee crisis. The real test of humanity's compassion and the true nature of strength was about to begin. The truth emerged like a supernova, brilliant and impossible to ignore. In the secure briefing room beneath the Denver facility, Lysandra's form pulsed with nervous energy as she revealed what the Aetherians had kept hidden. "We weren't rejected by the Confederation solely for our physical weakness," she explained to the assembled human leaders. "We were rejected because they feared our potential, our ability to merge consciousness with technology, to share thoughts and memories across vast distances. They saw it as a threat to their control." Admiral Santos leaned forward, her expression grave. "And those signals we're detecting." "Confederation hunters," Theron answered, his light patterns flickering with distress. "They've been pursuing us across the galaxy, ensuring we can never settle, never grow strong enough to challenge their dominion." President Daniels' hologram flickered as she processed this information. "So by granting you sanctuary, we've made ourselves a target." "We should have told you sooner," Lysandra acknowledged. "But we feared you would reject us too." Before anyone could respond, Dr. Tanaka burst into the room. "The signals, they're accelerating. Multiple vessels just crossed Saturn's orbit. Their technology, it's like nothing we've ever seen." The next 48 hours transformed Earth's major cities into fortified zones. The Confederation fleet, 15 massive warships that seemed to bend space itself around them, took up positions around the moon. Their first transmission was simple: surrender the Aetherians or face extinction. But in those crucial hours, something unexpected happened. While military leaders prepared for conventional warfare, Raven and Theron made a discovery that would change everything. "Look at this," Raven explained to Admiral Santos, projecting a complex energy pattern. "The Aetherians' ability to manipulate quantum fields. It's not just technological, it's biological, and it can be shared." Julian's medical research confirmed it. Their cellular structure can temporarily bond with human nervous systems. In theory, we could combine their energy manipulation abilities with our physical resilience. The Confederation's ultimatum expired at dawn. Their ships descended through Earth's atmosphere like angry gods, energy weapons charging. But humanity wasn't defenseless. In secret facilities around the globe, volunteers had already begun the bonding process. Admiral Santos stood on the command deck of Earth's hastily assembled defense platform, her consciousness partially merged with an Aetherian named Vex. Through their shared awareness, she could feel the quantum fields surrounding Earth, could sense the weaknesses in the Confederation's supposedly impenetrable shields. They never imagined this. Vex's thoughts echoed in her mind. They kept us apart because they feared what we could accomplish together. The battle that followed would be remembered for centuries. Confederation forces, expecting to find a primitive planet defending a weak species, encountered something unprecedented. Human fighter pilots, their minds linked with Aetherian partners, danced through quantum fields that their enemies thought impossible to navigate. Ground forces, enhanced by Aetherian energy manipulation, turned their attackers' own weapons against them. But the true turning point came from an unexpected source. In the Horizon Station, Raven and Theron had been working on a different approach. As Confederation forces pushed toward the surface, they activated their experimental quantum resonance array. Every species has its strengths, Raven had argued. Ours is adaptation. Theirs is energy manipulation. Together, the array amplified the combined human-Aetherian consciousness across the globe. For a brief moment, every paired human and Aetherian could feel each other, their shared determination and courage creating a psychic shield that rippled across the planet. Confederation weapons, designed to target specific energy patterns, couldn't penetrate the hybrid defense. Their carefully planned assault fell into chaos as human-Aetherian teams exploited weaknesses that neither species alone could have discovered. As the sun set on that first day of battle, 3 Confederation ships had retreated, 2 had been disabled, and the rest were reconsidering their approach. In the Denver facility, Lysandra and President Daniels watched the tactical displays with growing hope. They never considered this possibility. Lysandra said softly, that our perceived weakness could become our greatest strength when paired with your adaptability. That's humanity's secret, Daniels replied with a grim smile. We don't have to be the strongest. We just have to be creative enough to find a better way. But even as Earth celebrated its first defensive success, deeper questions emerged. The bond between humans and Aetherians was proving more profound than anyone had predicted. Those who had paired were experiencing lasting changes, gaining abilities that neither species had possessed alone. As the Confederation regrouped for another assault, both humanity and the Aetherians faced a question. How far would this evolution go, and what would they become together? In the Horizon Station's quantum lab, Raven and Theron continued their work, knowing that the next phase of the battle would require even greater innovation. The Confederation's fear of their combined potential, it seemed, had not been entirely unfounded. The Confederation's second wave came with a revelation that shook both species to their core. As their reinforced fleet darkened Earth's skies, their supreme commander, Nexus, broadcasted a message that changed everything. You do not understand what you protect, Nexus declared, his holographic form towering over cities worldwide. The Aetherian ability to merge consciousness isn't natural, it's engineered. They were created as weapons, designed to infiltrate and control other species. We didn't reject them, we contained them. In the Denver facility's command center, all eyes turned to Lysandra. Her light pattern swirled with complex emotions as she faced humanity's leaders. It's true, she admitted, but not in the way they claim. We were engineered, yes, by our own ancestors, seeking to transcend physical limitations. We chose to evolve beyond our original forms, but we rejected our Creator's military ambitions. Dr. Julian Patel's research confirmed her story. The Aetherian genetic structure showed signs of deliberate modification, but also centuries of natural evolution away from their original design. They had transformed their weapon-like abilities into tools for communication and creation. The Confederation fears us, Theron explained, because we represent a path they can't control. Conscious evolution, guided by choice rather than force. As debate raged about this revelation, the human-Aetherian pairs made another discovery. Their continuing bond was creating something entirely new, a hybrid consciousness that retained individual identity while sharing collective strength. The very thing the Confederation had feared was happening, but not as a weapon of war. Instead, it was becoming a bridge of understanding between species. Admiral Santos, her bond with Vex now permanent, led the defense against the second wave. The Confederation's forces found themselves facing not just hybrid warriors, but a hybrid society that adapted faster than they could attack. Every strategy they deployed was met with innovative countermeasures born from the combined creativity of both species. The tide turned when Raven and Theron completed their quantum resonance network. As the Confederation fleet pressed their assault, the network activated, linking every bonded pair on Earth into a temporary collective consciousness. In that moment of unity, they saw the truth and a path forward. The final battle for Earth's future began not with weapons, but with an invitation. Using the quantum resonance network, the combined human-Aetherian consciousness reached out to the Confederation fleet's crews. They shared not just thoughts, but experiences, the fear, hope, and discovery that had marked their journey together. "See who we truly are," Lyssandra's voice echoed across the quantum field, joined by millions of others, both human and Aetherian. Not weapons, not refugees, but pioneers of a new way of being. The effect was immediate and unexpected. Throughout the Confederation fleet, crews who had been enhanced with neural implants found themselves unexpectedly connecting to the quantum field. The truth spread like wildfire. The Confederation leadership had hidden the full story not just from humanity, but from their own people. Admiral Santos and Vex, their consciousness now seamlessly merged, led a diplomatic mission to the Confederation flagship. They carried with them proof of what human and Aetherian collaboration had achieved: clean energy that could power worlds, medical advances that could save billions, and most importantly, a way for different species to truly understand each other. "Your leaders feared change," Santos addressed the Confederation representatives, her words carrying the harmonic resonance of her Aetherian bond. "But evolution cannot be contained. It can only be guided." In the Denver facility, Raven and Theron monitored the quantum field as something remarkable happened. Confederation crew members began requesting contact with the hybrid pairs. Many had long questioned their society's rigid hierarchy and fear of difference. The human-Aetherian bond offered a glimpse of another way. President Daniels, standing beside Lysandra in a globally broadcast address, made the announcement that would reshape galactic society. "Earth will not just be a sanctuary for the Aetherians. We will be a beacon for all species who seek to grow beyond the limitations others place upon them." The Confederation fleet withdrew, but not in defeat. Instead, they left as the first witnesses to a new era of galactic civilization. The fear that had driven them to pursue the Aetherians had transformed into cautious curiosity about what this new hybrid society might achieve. In the years that followed, Earth became a center of innovation and cultural exchange. The human-Aetherian bonds continued to evolve, creating a society that celebrated both unity and diversity. Other species began to arrive, drawn by the promise of a place where strength was measured not by dominance, but by the ability to grow and adapt together. Raven and Theron, their consciousness now permanently linked like many others, continued their research into the quantum nature of consciousness itself. Their work laid the foundation for a new understanding of life and intelligence in the universe. Admiral Santos and Vex became Earth's first hybrid ambassadors to the transformed Confederation, which was slowly reforming into a more inclusive alliance of species. The fear that had once driven them to reject the Aetherians became a catalyst for change. As Lysandra stood with President Daniels on the 10th anniversary of First Contact, watching ships from a dozen worlds dock at Earth's new orbital stations, she reflected on their journey. "We came seeking shelter," she said, her form glowing with contentment. "But we found something far greater. We found partners in evolution." The story of the weak aliens who sought refuge with humanity became legend across the galaxy, but it wasn't remembered as a tale of sanctuary given and received. Instead, it became known as the moment when the galaxy learned that true strength lies not in power over others, but in the courage to transform together. In the Horizon Station, now a bustling center of interstellar research, A plaque commemorated the first signal that had started everything. Below it, written in multiple languages, was the lesson that had changed the course of galactic history. In our differences lie our greatest strengths. In our unity, our endless potential. The end.